Welcome back to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is August 30th, 2020. This is episode 76, Spirit of 76. And we're going to get into this one today with Dr. Tomorrow, issue number 1. I do believe this came out in March of 2020, but I'm just getting around to it. I just picked it up this last week when I was out in California. I'd never seen it before, so I thought I'd give it a try. This is a Valiant comic, and Bloodshot is the movie is being advertised up here. So you can see 3/13/20. So I'm assuming this came out in March. Now, if you're familiar with the character Dr. Tomorrow, he debuted, I guess, in Valiant way back in 1997. I don't think there's been that many comics made about him. In fact, one of the reviews I read, they thought this was a introductory edition of this new character, and were disappointed to find out he's been out for more than 20 years. Now, I did do a little background check to see what other people thought of this comic, and have bad comic reviews, gave it an okay. Son of the Morning Comics gave it a yes. And Teleheim 29, I think it's Telehim or Teleheim 29, gave it a 7 of 10. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the writing was quite a bit along the lines of Greg Pak. The story itself is probably for a younger audience, but I think it could be enjoyed from an adult perspective as well. There's a whole cast of people I do not know who they are in this, but basically Dr. Tomorrow's powers are time travel. He appears to be able to fly. I'm sure he has super strength and maybe shoots some kind of energy bolt or something like that, something familiar to that. So let's go ahead and take a quick look inside. First of all, we see this sequential art here, and basically what it's showing is someone gets there's a fight going on with all these superheroes trying to take down this one guy, and one of these guys gets knocked all the way clear across the earth and finally crashes, and then he just gets up and goes back into the fight. So I believe that's what happened here. And they're given the little insignia here of what's on Dr. Tomorrow. You can see it on here there. So I'm assuming this is what happened to Dr. Tomorrow. So they think he's gone. He comes back in the fight, and we get this opening page here. It's not really the opening page, but the surprise page where he's coming back into battle, and you can see all the superheroes are battling this one guy named Hadrian. They're trying to stop him. He appears to be able to control energy, super strength. He has all kinds of powers that are not really described here so much. And Captain Tomorrow lands back in there, and they thought he was gone. And he's saying, you can't fight this guy physically. You have to fight them using your wits, basically. So this guy here, I think is Hwen, Hwen. He's going to take him on because he's a ghost. He doesn't think he can be seen, but because Hadrian seems to have quite a few different powers, he is seen, and he actually grabs Hwen, I guess his name is, and pretty much reduces him to nothing but an energy pod, or a soul pod or something like that. And Hadrian's going to use this to plug into his armor here to give him an extra power boost. They're trying to stop him. Someone throws like this spear thing and knocks it away. And Hadrian goes ahead and power blasts the guy. So the fighting continues, and they're trying to stop him. They can't, and Hadrian just creates this power orb that goes big, and as you can see, it is creating this big energy bubble above the earth. I'm assuming this is the earth, and then gets larger, it consumes it, and then we have a vacuum, what they call a vacuum decay. Now, I don't know if that's some kind of black hole, meaning the end of the solar system or what. And this is just I believe this is just an ad for something else. It says at hashtag Valiant 2020. So it must be for some other comic that's coming out, because it doesn't seem to be associated with this here. Then we cut over to Berkeley, California. And I don't know if this is, I'm assuming this is happening earlier in the whole timeline or later or on a different planet. I'm not quite sure. They don't really explain it. But Bart Sims, who will be, as an adult, become Dr. Tomorrow, is taking batting practice with his friend who happens to be a tomboy. She's very much into the science, which is the main theme now. But she also seems to be quite a physical specimen, and she's a tomboy. And she's pitching batting practice to Bart, who's trying to connect to his father by baseball, hoping his father will pay more attention to him and come to his games and things like that. So she's helping him out, and he's just creaming the ball. And she's feeding him physics questions at the same time. So then we get the call that his dad can't make the game again because he's got a big client presentation to do. So he's kind of bummed. And one of the things we find out is, I think this girl named Gretchen has real feelings for Bart, and wants to comfort him and likes him, basically. Is probably hoping for more than just a regular friendship. He gets teased by some locals. And the one thing we find about Bart is he needs to grow up a little bit. He doesn't have a tough skin. He immediately attacks this group of kids. And that's one of the things that Gretchen talks to him about is, hey, just don't fight everybody that comes along. Just get the first thing. You try to, talk through it, which I thought was kind of a nice little lesson. Just don't, control your anger. Try to work something out. This picture's a little bit funny because the first time I looked at it, I thought he was balancing a boombox on his head, but I believe they went with a Dutch corner here, and I don't know if they really needed to there. So anyway, there's a big explosion at this last panel, and we see coming through the sky is this object, and it crashes, and they go to check it out, and up pops Dr. Tomorrow with like the biggest boob I think I've ever seen on a man. I mean, that thing's huge. And they're stunned too. They're like, whoa. So anyway, Dr. Tomorrow asks Bart if he will help him. He needs his power. He needs, to link with him and create a bigger power generation, because they are of the same generic code. So they share genetics, so they'll be able to create more energy together. So in the meantime, outside this big super collider place, there's lightning striking outside. The guys and things say, whoa, that was close. And they see a figure outside the door and say, we're closed, and boom, it's Hadrian. And as you can see, he's pretty dense, because as he steps in, he actually so heavy he seems to crush the flooring. And there he just says, I'm here for your superconductor. And the guys are saying, we're closed. So in the meantime, Dr. Tomorrow throws Bart some equipment to put on, and he becomes I don't know what you call it, boy of tomorrow, I don't know. And the guy tells him you'll become an astrophysicist, and the girl thinks that's great. Hey, all right, cool. You're going to like physics and such like I do. So he's going to help him now. In the meantime, elsewhere, we get this thing showing up on this monitor in this other laboratory, and things start creating an energy force, and this being, I don't know if it's one of the beings that was fighting Hadrian at the beginning, but he suddenly appears and flops down out of nowhere. And this scientist here, I don't know if it's Gretchen's mom. She kind of looks like her. She's wearing the science is really cool, because they're really stressing the whole science thing here. But they realize there's a big power surge going on, because now Bart is got the Dr. Tomorrow suit on, as well as Dr. Tomorrow in their area, and that could create a problem. They're thinking it's going to create a vacuum decay, what we saw earlier on. So this is the end of the first issue. I don't think it was that many pages. It didn't seem like 20, but maybe it was. It seemed like there were a lot of big ads in here and such. But I thought the story's okay. It was, readable. It was well written. There's some decent lesson type things going on here. There's some strategy, which I like reading. I'm not big on a few things in here, and this is just me generally. I'm not crazy about time travel stories so much. Also not crazy about hostages, but stories about hostages, but this didn't have that. But that's another thing that kind of bugs. I just don't care for those kind of stories when they include stuff like that. So this is where it leaves us hanging. I do have issue 2. I will review that sooner. I have not read it yet and find out how this all links in. But right now, I think it's a good comic, and I think it's one that a younger audience could enjoy as well. It's not. Doesn't appear to be super bloody or gross or anything, and there is no profanity in it that I can tell. So I think, this could be a family read, actually. So I would recommend it. Let's take a look at who worked on this book, if we can find that out. I think it's up here. Boy, I can't read that. Trying hard. Looks like Alf. I can't read it. Looks like Jim Toe might have been the artist, but Alejandro Arbana. Diego Rodriguez is also there, maybe inks or colorist. And Clayton Cools. So we'll see what happens. I think there is also some other things in here. They already show some previews for the next issue. And maybe a quick little story for Exo Man of War #1, kind of just a advertisement, a tease, if you will. And this looks like it includes some of the characters from Dr. Tomorrow. I see Eric spelled with an A there, so he was in the fight against Hadrian at the beginning. So we get a little bit of a preview of Exo Man of War. Quantum and Woody. The Final Witness. I don't know anything about this comic, and just here's some other things that we're looking at right now for coming out of Valiant. Ray, Exo Man of War, Bloodshot, and of course Dr. Tomorrow #2, which we do have in our possession, so we will be looking at that soon. And there's Final Witness again. Is that what this one was? So we got it here. That looks kind of interesting. Ray Fawkes and Jeremy Hahn. That's supposed to, maybe that's going to come out soon, because it was supposed to be an April release, and of course everything got pushed back. So that's my review of Dr. Tomorrow. Thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe. Please like. Please leave comments. If you didn't like it, leave a comment. Tell me why. I really appreciate all your support. Gaining about a subscriber a week. Oh, I'm killing it. But I will continue to put out more videos, and hope you're enjoying them. This was number 76, so you can tell I've got quite a huge catalog, and most of them, they're mostly just within the last year or so. Okay, so take care. I think that's it. This is Indie Comics Jones saying thank you for stopping by the Temple of Tomes. We'll see you next time with another comic. Take care.